Well, we're back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and we're going to be handling a few topics today, actually. We're going to be talking about this post by Bleach Soul Resonance News, talking about the Bankai Ichigo that released at the start of the game, and we're going to be getting into the KENPACHI, essentially, like, soft launch, the soft reveal of KENPACHI as the next character, if nothing else changes, because as I suggested before, as I suspected before, it seems like the developers are very, very aware of leaks and all of us. I do actually kind of find it really cool that they seem to be so aware of community discourse, given that Bleach Soul Resonance, while not a, not a hidden game or anything, not like, oh my god, it's so niche, it's so, quiet. I mean, it's a Bleach game. It has failed to create a bit of buzz due to marketing being poor. It's a game where they're doing a lot of things right. I would say that almost everything Bleach Soul Resonance devs are doing is like the right choice in hindsight. Like they're doing very well. So I hope at some point they give them like a marketing budget, because it's a crazy game. I've been playing Arknight's Enfield, and that game is very polished and pretty, but it sort of has me wondering, like, who is this for? It's a very like odd game in the space it exists in. And Bleach Soul Resonance, on the other hand, feels very focused and fun, and by comparison, isn't like an Arknight's Enfield release, right? So we'll see. We'll definitely see. So it's crazy how the opinions on Bankai Ichigo have quickly shifted. He really just isn't that fun or that good compared to the other raid ups. If only he had a better dupes plus a better core stamp. Yeah, let me get into this. I guess I can go to my post here, which is, he feels a lot like the standard SSRs by comparison, and all the SSRs since feel like they really explore the game in really fun ways. And let me go in game so we can actually talk about this. And here we are properly in game, and the thing I wanted to talk about is sort of how the characters have begun to feel as they release as raid ups, because there is a sort of noticeable difference between like a character like Gin and a character like Bankai Ichigo. I said that Bankai Ichigo feels much more in line with the current slot of like base roster characters. So you have characters like Yoruichi, characters like Ikaku, and characters like, I guess that would be the actual last SSR right outside of Bankai Ichigo, who is the slash one. But Ikaku, Yoruichi, and let's say an even sort of like offensively minded character like Byakuya. Even as a tactics character, he's pretty on field, pretty offensive. And I think the reason this is that even though relatively Bankai Ichigo was the raid up character, he was the new character, he felt by far like one of the oldest designs even on release. And you saw this with like Toshido coming out after him, where Toshido is a character who I think even by comparison to Aizen and Gin is fairly simplistic. Almost feeling like Bankai Ichigo, version 2. And as we sort of continue to move and iterate away from Bankai Ichigo, we're getting to characters like Aizen and like Gin, who are just wholly unique within the space. And I talk about this a lot in other gacha I play, in like Dokkan, where there's sort of not only there's a few ways to make a character in these games. You can make them very interesting, or you could make them very good, and sometimes both happen. So, Aizen, I say, is a very good character and is interesting, and Gin is a very good character, who I would also say is pretty interesting, right? And I think Bankai Ichigo was released with the desire to make a character who was just very good at the start, regardless, because they knew that they sort of had some gas in the tank, they had some heat in the tank, right? And I think that what that ends up being sort of the problem, quote unquote, of Bankai Ichigo is, because he was just designed to be very good, as we sort of move away from him, we're not only getting characters who are power crept above him, because that's how gacha works, but we're getting characters who are more interesting than him, almost sort of like a mechanics power creep, because they're getting more comfortable in the system itself. And this is to say nothing of animations, because Bankai Ichigo is very flashy, he's very fun. It's kind of like Yoruichi. Yoruichi is not a very like difficult or as interesting a character to play as any of these SSR raid ups, but she is pretty good. and she is very visually fun. It's not like you play Yoruichi and you're like, oh my god, it's like I'm playing, you know, with my eyes closed. Like she's very fun still, and that goes as well with Ikaku, right? Not a kit wise, not super intensely interesting, but you know, him swinging the big ass blade around, like the spear, a lot of flourishes, like pretty fun character to watch do his stuff. And that is one of the strengths of Bleach Soul Resonance, is they're just very good at realizing these characters. But as the further we get away from Bankai Ichigo's release, the more they're continuing to sort of not only power creep, but sort of power creep the actual mechanics and like kit involvement, how interesting the characters are to just press buttons on. And while they could just make him flatly stronger, I think that the issue with Bankai Ichigo really becomes it's hard to make him more interesting. And we'll just have to see where that goes, because why go back and sort of make Bankai Ichigo, you know, a brand new character when they could just boost his numbers and then make a new Bankai Ichigo, right? And we'll see. It's not the biggest deal. It's not the biggest deal in the world, because Bankai Ichigo is essentially a free character. And you might be wondering, well, he's a raid up. How is that possible? If you got Bankai Ichigo and you didn't reroll, you wasted your Jade. Like, he's a reroll character. You just reroll for him. He's essentially free if you have the patience. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it, but I don't care, right? Like, there are people out there who are like, oh, you know, it sucks that I rolled for him, and it's like, it doesn't suck. You should have re-rolled, right? Like, that's just the reality of the situation. I'm not here to argue or make you feel bad, but the reality is that when a gacha launches and you have the option to re-roll, the re-roll isn't like slow. You either re-roll and the character is essentially free, or you hold that. You know what I mean? I'm holding that. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. You know, okay. I wasn't too concerned. And I say this as someone who my first three SSRs were Komamura, Yoruichi. So, you know, I could complain. Trust me, I could. But let's get into, oh my god, getting flashbang, dude. Let's get into our GOAT here, dude. We've got our GOAT. He's almost certainly the next character now. He has a visual trailer, or a cinematic trailer with cuts and bits of the actual anime spliced in, but we're gonna go ahead and just check out the gameplay. Here we are. Ooh, he looks good. Oh my god, dude. He's everything to me. He's everything to me, man. We've been waiting for this. Ooh, what the? Oh, what? This is the craziest looking character, dude. Oh my god. What? He's so fucking raw. I can't believe it. I'm so glad. He's actually he's the coolest. He's just the coolest. It is what it is. He's the coolest. New SSR. Zaraki Kenpachi gameplay. He will be the next limited SSR. Next limited SSR is Kenpachi Zaraki. Type and roll from sources. It's the most boring and obvious ones. So, here is the issue. Actually, go back here. Can I bring this back up? I'm gonna keep this zoomed in actually, because it might help. Let me check here. Let us see. Okay. Okay. So I guess we didn't really see it or anything. I did see someone in Giku's comments say that in one of the gameplay trailers, it looked like Zaraki Kenpachi had the Komamura barrier up. We just took a look there, and I don't believe that's the case. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we can go in and just look at this really, really fast so that we all sort of understand the like thing we're talking about, right? So let's go here. Let's go to Komamura. Press use. The Komamura barrier is pretty obvious. I think they got confused. It doesn't look like that to me at all. So if you go to Komamura here, right? You press this button. When you switch, you have this sort of barrier around you. So here we go. She has it on her. It didn't look like he had this on him, which that was really the only sort of red herring we had when it came to Kenpachi's typing in this case. So we're sort of back on the railroad that like he will be the SSR to sort of push Bankai Ichigo out of his place, which means that I will finally actually have a red DPS. I have not had a red DPS the entire game. I've been using Shikai Ichigo. At some point, I stopped building him up because I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't keep putting resources into this. I've got SSRs I want to build. So it looks like he will be the next Slash unit to be released. This does lead to the elephant in the room with Yoruichi, which is that we do need a strike DPS to sort of make an appearance at some point. There was the idea that this character typically falls in line with who the next character will be. In this case, I believe this guy's weak to strike thrust. I could be wrong. And we also saw that Grimjaw had the strike on him. So what I would imagine, if nothing else, is that we get Kenpachi. Kenpachi goes in this slot right here. After that, we are almost guaranteed to get whatever the replacement will be for Strike. I think so. Because Strike at this point is so woefully behind the other colors that it is sort of becoming an issue. Like, if I go to the leaderboards, how are people's, like, Yoruichi's doing? 62,000. I mean, they definitely do have them up there, right? 67,000. Gin, 67,000. Bankai, 60. Yeah, she is like. And power isn't everything, obviously, but there is sort of a conversation to be had with, like, the upper limits of characters even among whales. Because my Yoruichi has 39,000, 40,000, like, you know, if we round up power, but she is so much weaker than my Gin, right? And my Gin, I mean, my Gin would literally have, like, probably, like, 41,000 if he had stamp dupes like she had, as well as a single boundary like she has. So I think the character has sort of completed her objectives, but I also don't think that it can really be just, it can't really just be like, oh, now they're gonna release my Yuri or Soifon as like a support or tactics. I think we need the DPS. We need the DPS strike unit next, I think. I do think so. And it's like I always say, the DPS characters can be replaced the easiest. But in this case, it's just been so long. It's probably time to get our strike DPS if Kenpachi doesn't end up being our strike DPS, which he very well could be. I'm still am not going to commit 100% that Kenpachi isn't like strike or slash. Like I think it's possible. So we will see. We will see. This is exciting news for me, though, because I love Kenpachi. Kenpachi is the character that I was most excited. I thought Kenpachi was going to be the first DPS character released after game launch. So I have really been waiting for this guy. I can't wait to see him do 1 billion damage. If he doesn't just absolutely fire out damage, I'm going to be sad, dude. I want him to be top 1 new DPS. I actually want it to be that much. Like I said it before, I don't care if you power creep DPSs because DPSs are made to be power crept. The issue would be if they started power creeping out all of like the support and tactics characters, because then you would sort of overlap them and slowly start phasing out DPSs in general. So yeah, I hope that Kenpachi is him. I hope Kenpachi is Mr. DPS. I hope he feels so good to get. I saw a lot of people having their stone count is down. I wonder if I've just gotten really lucky. Go ahead and tell me, how many stones do you have if you made it this far in the video? Because I have still just a lot remaining, right? So I don't know. Obviously, I mean, I show all the time I'm not buying anything. Like, nothing is bought in my shop. Nothing. No paid stone, no paid jades, nothing. So yeah, I don't know how much people actually have. I hope people still have their stockpiles, but yeah, maybe I've gotten more lucky than I think. But so long as I play, it feels like I've always got, you know, a pretty healthy tap of jade. So yeah, like if you liked the video, Kenpachi's hype, subscribe to join the club. We all gonna make it, and peace.